Hello team and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we are going to see how we can set up ELK stack for log monitoring of our application. So today is going to be kind of mega project where I'm going to show you from scratch how you can set up ELK stack in virtual machine along with an application deployment whose logs we are going to monitor using the ELK stack. So all these things I'm going to show you from scratch so that you can implement the same thing on your side as well. Okay. So yeah, make sure to watch this video till end so that you don't miss out any of the steps. And also team, since I'm providing all these things for free, so I would really appreciate if you could like the video as well as subscribe to channel if you are new on the channel. Now also team, batch 9 of our DevSecOps and Cloud DevOps is starting from 25th of March. So if you are interested in learning everything from scratch, you can enroll to the course. The highlights of the course is that first of all we are going to have 20 mega projects which are completely full stack projects like multi-tier with databases. Even databases, we are using different kind of databases: MongoDB, MySQL, Postgres, all of them. Even we are having multiple microservice applications. So all those things will be included in the course. And in addition to that, we also have Azure DevOps and Python for the DevOps. So all those things will be within the course and you can enroll. As of now, we are having a discount which will be closed within few days. So if you're interested, make sure to check it out and make sure to enroll. Now with that being said, let's get started with the hands-on part. So guys, before we get started, make sure to check out the channel. You'll find amazing hands-on project on DevOps and Cloud DevOps. Also team, batch 9 of DevSecOps or Cloud DevOps is starting from 25th of March, and as of now we are having a discount of 1500. So if interested, you can enroll. We are having 20 mega projects, 150 plus hours of content and 14 comprehensive modules. And after you complete the course, you'll be able to connect one-to-one with me, where I'll be guiding you how to present yourself and what kind of things you need to mention in your resume, what kind of projects and all those things. So yeah, make sure to check it out. And with that being said, let's get started. And let us understand now ELK stack. So guys, now let us understand about ELK stack. So first of all, let us understand its full form. We have ELK, right? Where E stands for Elasticsearch. And don't worry, I'm going to explain each one of them in very detail. Then L stands for Logstash. Then we have K, which stands for Kibana. Okay. Now, in addition to these three, there is one more component that you should be aware about, which is known as filebeat, which we are going to be using today. Now, talking about what exactly is ELK stack. So ELK stack is basically a group of components, a group of tools that is going to be used for monitoring the application logs. When your application runs, it's going to generate a lot of logs. Sometimes it happens that application might be facing some issue or it's not working well. In that case, first thing that we can do is analyze the logs, and based on that we can decide what actions we have to take. Now, whenever an application runs, it's going to generate the log, but that log is completely in raw format, or it's kind of raw data, and it's not very easy to analyze the log. So for that purpose, we have ELK stack that will get the log, convert it into a very structured way, which is much easier for us to analyze the logs. In addition to that, with help of ELK stack, you can convert that log, whatever structured data that you receive, in like proper visualized format. For example, like you can create graphs with them, you can create charts with them. So all these things together help us a lot to analyze the log, make sure our application is running well without any issues. Okay. Now let us understand how exactly it's going to work with an example. So let us consider a scenario. In this scenario, let us say that I have an application that is running on a server. Okay. Let's say I'm running my application on an EC2 server. Okay. So now next step would be to how we are going to get the log, process it, index it, and how we are going to get the structured data using ELK stack. So I'm going to guide you with step by step in detail. So make sure to follow this, and then only you'll be able to understand. Okay. So let us say that this is our EC2 machine. Okay. Inside this EC2 machine, we have our application running. Now, application is running, and let's say I'm running my application using a command, simple command. For example, let's say I have a Java application. So I can run that Java application using the command java-jar, and whatever jar file we are having, let's say app.jar, and this is going to run the application. But where exactly is the log? So for getting the log, what we are going to do, we are running this command, it's going to run the application, plus it's going to generate the log. So what we are going to do, we are going to put that log inside a file app.log. Okay. And running this command, we want to run this command in background. So for that I can use no hub. What is no hub? It is short for no hang up. That means this command is now going to run in background and the logs of the application is going to be inserted here. But remember that this app.log file, it contains the log in completely raw format. So it's completely raw data, which is not easier for us to analyze. Okay. Next thing what we are going to do, we are going to install another application, another tool on this server, which is known as filebeat. Okay. Now filebeat is a tool that is going to collect this log. Basically inside filebeat we have a configuration file. Inside that configuration file you can provide the path where this app.log file is present. Once you do this, then filebeat will be able to access that log, and next step would be to forward that log, whatever log is collected by filebeat, to the next component from ELK stack. Now this is one EC2 machine. Next we are going to set up another EC2 machine where we are going to have all of our ELK stack components. So now once filebeat has collected the log, it's going to forward it to tool known as Logstash from ELK stack. Now this log will be forwarded to Logstash on port 5044. Now what is Logstash is going to do? So Logstash is going to basically parse the log or filter it properly. So for example, let's say we have a very like so much of data for our log file. So Logstash is what is going to do. We can use, there will be another configuration file of Logstash. Inside that configuration file, using another component known as grok. So inside grok block you can write how you want to filter out the log. For example, let's say I want to get the data from the log of timestamp. Okay, I want to get log level. So all these kind of keywords we can mention inside grok, and then the data will be structured now. Previously it was raw data collected by filebeat, but after getting parsed through Logstash, the new data that we are going to have will be properly structured. For example, it will be like timestamp, then there will be some time, then log level, then that info. So it will be properly structured now. Okay, but our task is not yet done. So once this Logstash has passed the data and converted into structured data, it's going to send that data to next component, which is Elasticsearch. Now what is Elasticsearch is going to do? So the task of Elasticsearch is to index the data. Now what exactly is indexing the data? So basically what happens when you have data, it's not that you are going to have just one set of data, you are going to have multiple sets, right? So Elasticsearch, what it's going to do, it's going to give the data, each data, a specific index. For example, let's say we have data of set 1, so it will be like that: index, let's say log, then 2025, then let's say March, and then date is 6, and then whatever that set of data is having. Okay, so similar to that, it's going to create like proper sets, like each set of data will be indexed. Why Elasticsearch is doing that? Because once it is properly indexed, then it will be much easier and it will be much faster for fetching the data and utilizing it. Okay, so basically Elasticsearch is going to index the data and make it accessible very easily and fastly. Okay, but still you can understand, okay, once we have structured data, still for analysis it's not a stable format. So what we are going to do now, from Elasticsearch, it's going to be forwarded to another tool which is known as Kibana, ELK, right? Logstash, Elasticsearch, and Kibana. Kibana is what? Kibana is a visualization tool. Okay, now when I say visualization tool, what it's going to do, the data that we have, structured data, index data, it's going to convert it into proper like format means like it can convert into easily graph, it can convert into chart, and using these formats it's much easier for us to analyze the logs, okay, and monitor the logs properly. Okay, So these are the main components using which we can perform log monitoring. Now let me summarize everything so that you can understand very clearly. First we have EC2 machine where our application is running, okay, which is going to generate the log inside app.log file, which will be collected by another component known as filebeat. Filebeat is now going to send the collected log, which is raw data format, into another component on the second server or ELK stack server, which is known as Logstash. This is going to be running on 5044. So filebeat is going to send that log to here. The task of Logstash is to parse the data, okay, and filter it. Whatever filter like keywords we have provided, based on that the data will be filtered, and it will become a proper structured data. Once that is done, then it's going to forward that to second component, which is Elasticsearch. What it's going to do, it's going to index the data so that it is very easier to find, okay, and also it makes sure that the data that is indexed by Elasticsearch, it is easily and fastly accessible, okay. Then that data will be given to Kibana, which is a visualization tool, which is going to present that data to us in a proper format using which users can understand, and also it is going to help you create dashboards. Dashboards similar to like Grafana, where we can create dashboards presenting all the data. Similar to that, Kibana, inside Kibana also we can create dashboards in the form of charts, like graphs, tables, and all those things. And this is what users are going to monitor and analyze, okay. Inside Kibana we can set up alerts also, like email notification. Those things can also be done, okay. So now this is what we are going to implement today, and let me show you with hands-on part so that we don't miss out any of the things, okay. Let us create virtual machines. Two virtual machine will be needing. One is for the server where our application will be running. Second is going to be the ELK stack. So let us create two machines. I'm taking 24.04 and I'm taking T2 medium. Here we can select security group. So remember that as I have showed you, or maybe let me show you again the ports that you need to make sure that that are open. Security groups, primary SG. This is the ports you can open. This is not needed, I guess. Okay, let me remove this. Okay, so these are the ports that you need to make sure that they are open. Coming back here, storage, I'm giving 25 to each one of them, and we are going to launch the instance. And now let me rename them. Okay, first I'm going to call this as ELK, and second is going to be just server. Okay, and let's connect to these machines. First ELK, so I'm going to copy the IP address, go to here, MOBX term. Let me close the previous sessions. Okay, and I can connect to ELK stack by providing the IP address, and to our server also we can connect by getting the public IP address. Okay, so now we are connected to our virtual machines. Now first thing that we have to do, we will open the ELK stack, and first command that we should run sudo apt update, and now one by one we are going to install Logstash, Elasticsearch, and Kibana. Okay, so for that I have documented everything. Okay, first we need to make sure that we have Java installed on our machine, because Elasticsearch will be and Logstash will be needing it. That is prerequisite for Elasticsearch and Logstash. So we are going to install Java now. Let's wait for this to complete first. Okay, I can search here Java. We can see it's not present, but we get the command. So I'm going to copy this and install it. Let me update the documentation also. Here I can write in this format -1. Okay. Once that is done, we are going to install Elasticsearch. So for that, first we have to download the package using wget command. Then we can update the packages and then we can install it. So let's see how long does it take. Meanwhile that is happening, next step would be to configure Elasticsearch. So we are going to open the configuration file, which is elasticsearch.yaml existing inside etc folder. Make sure that you are using sudo, because if not, then you won't be able to access. Okay, now it's going to take a little bit of time, so yeah, let's wait for this. So next up, what we have to do, we have to update the this file, configuration file for Elasticsearch that is present on this YAML file. Let's open this, and here let's go into insert mode, and here we have to add this thing: network host, cluster name, node name, and discovery type. These things we have to add here. Let's add this and save this. Okay, now next stage that we have is to enable it and start it. Why we have to enable? So that automatically whenever a server the server restarts, Elasticsearch should also get started. Okay, now let's wait for this to complete. Meanwhile this is happening, we can go here and now we can verify it using this command, _curl command on this. So let's check this as well. Okay, this is done, and here we can see the status running. We can run the curl command as well, and yeah, this does give the output proper. So that means this is working fine. Next step that we have is to install and configure Logstash. So let us install Logstash using the apt command. And see, all these things we are doing as of now on the ELK server only. We have two servers. One is ELK server from where the monitoring is going to be done for logs, and second is the VM server or the application server where the application will be running. Okay, so coming back here, now again in Logstash also we have to modify, and that's what I'm saying ki Logstash is going to be used for parsing the logs. And you can see here grok, this is going to be used for filtering, and here we have mentioned in what format and what things we want to filter. Okay, so let's wait for Logstash to complete getting installed. 20% is done. So yeah, after that we are going to modify the configuration file. So guys, next step was to create the configuration file for Logstash, and that we can put in this format. So we have to, this is the basically filtering we are putting, and filtering is being done using this one, grok. Okay, give me 1 second. So I can copy this and I can put it here in the configuration file, and let us save this. Okay, so once this part is done, we can go to next step where we have to enable and start Logstash as well. Again, enable, why we are doing enabling? So that if server restarted, then Logstash can also start. Okay, and as we can see that it is running successfully. Next step that we have now, allow traffic on port 5044, and as I told you that we have already opened the ports inside our security group. In primary SG, I can show you from 3000 to 11,000 the ports are open, right? Now that part is also fine. Next step that we have, now we have to set up Kibana. So for Kibana I can copy this directly because Kibana is already present in the default repository of Linux. So let's wait for this to get installed. Meanwhile we can check out the other steps. So here we have to another modify the Kibana YAML file, which is inside etc, and inside etc we have the configuration files, right? So here we have to mention server host and elasticsearch.host. Okay, so let's see. Okay, this is going to take a little bit of time, I guess, so we will wait for this. So guys, Kibana is installed, and now we have to set up the configuration file. We have that is also present inside etc, and now we can open this. Okay, so here let me just go into insert mode. Let's create some space, and here we can put the file content. So this is the content that we have to put 9200, which is going to be, you can say this is going to be the port for Elasticsearch. So I can put it here and let us save this. Okay, this part is done. So next step that we have is to again enable and start Kibana as well. Okay, and by default Kibana will be running on port 5601, and as we can see it is running. So just to confirm, we can try to access it on this IP address and on this on port 5601. As you can see, it says it's not ready yet, right? So let us check again. Okay, so now you can see it is getting started and we have Kibana ready. Okay, now this is going to be the home page, and now I'm going to show you how you are going to get the logs and everything here. Okay, so basically the first section is done. That means we have configured this section. Okay, second server where we are going to set up the ELK stack, that is done. Next step that we have to do is set up the application to run and the filebeat. Okay, these two things we have to do. So for that, what I'm going to do, first of all, let's open GitHub and let's take a project that we are going to use, and we can use this one. This project runs very easily. So I'm going to just pick up this and let us open the second VM. This is going to be the application server. Okay. Okay. So first thing that we have to do, sudo apt update, and we have to install Java, and we have to install Maven also for application building. Okay, let's wait for this to complete. See, as of now, there are no logs. So ELK, inside ELK stack, we won't be able to see, or we should be able to see only system logs. Just to confirm, if I go here, click on discover. See, you can see here, ready to try Kibana, first you need data. That means we are not having any kind of data as of now. Okay, right. So now let's clone the repository, git clone this. Okay, cloning done. Now we are going to install Java because we need to like build our application, right? So I'm going to install Java, and after Java we are going to install Maven, and then only we will be able to run our application. But as I told you that we need to have filebeat also, right? So yeah, we are going to configure that as well, and the steps for that are here. Okay, so Java is installed. I can install Maven as well. Sudo apt install Maven, right? So Maven is done, Java is done, right? Next step would be to install filebeat. Now remember one thing, that I was trying to install directly a sudo apt install filebeat from Linux repository, but there is no filebeat present. So make sure that you are adding a separate repository, then updating, and then only you'll be able to install. Okay, so I'll copy this and this. And this is going to install filebeat, which is going to collect the logs from our application. Okay, now next step what we have to do. So if I show you, as I told you that we have to execute the application, and while running the command to execute the application, we need to make sure that logs of the application are getting collected in a separate file like app.log, and then we have to give that file to filebeat. Then only that filebeat will be able to forward that file to Logstash in ELK. Okay, so let us do that as well. So team, now we have we have installed filebeat as well. Okay, next thing that we have to do is basically set up the filebeat configuration file, inside which we are going to mention the logs path, where exactly log is there. But before we start this, we have to build our application. If I show you, we have to go inside board game application, and here we have this. So first I'm going to build the application package using the command maven package. Then we will be able to execute the application. Now execution, as I told you, can be done easily by running the command java -jar, then name of the jar file, right? But here what we want, that our application should be running and the logs of the application should be stored inside the file app.log. Now here one more thing you'll be able to see to this end. What exactly does this mean? So this means that standard output and the standard error, both of them should be going to this file only. Okay, so let us write this as well. I'll copy this, and now our jar file is existing inside target folder, so we will go there and then we are going to write the command. Just to make sure that you are writing correct path, home ubuntu port game target app.log. Okay, if this file is not present, it's going to get created. So let us run the application, and it has started. Just to confirm that we are able to access the application, we can copy the public IP address, put it here, and colon 8080. And we have to wait for some time because the application may take a little bit of time to come into running state. Okay, the problem that you have faced here is because we are putting the name app.jar instead of the actual name. So actual name is database service underscore project jars, right? So we are going to write the command again, this time writing correctly the jar file name. This is the jar file name. So I'll going to put it here, click enter, and now it should be able to run. Let us confirm that. Yeah, application is running, right? This part is done, and now we can set up the filebeat YAML file. Now we can provide the path. So I can copy this. Let's run it here, and okay. Here you can see the Elasticsearch path it's saying, but this is not the correct path, right? So what we have to do, we have to first add this part, filebeat inputs. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to insert mode. I'm going to put it here. Make sure that this path that you have written, this is correct, because that's where the app.log should be present. Next thing that we have to do is Logstash. One second, let me see. Okay, because see, this is the if it is Elasticsearch path, this is like it is not running on localhost. But yeah, we will check it in a bit. Meanwhile, let me add this part for the Logstash. So I'm going to copy that. I can add it here, I guess. Here the only thing that we need to change is going to be the IP address, the IP address where Logstash is present. So we can get the IP address from here, ELK stack IP. Okay, this is done. Same thing I'm going to do for Elasticsearch as well. Instead of localhost, I'm going to write the IP address. Okay, and this seems fine to me, so I'm going to save this. Once this is done, we are going to restart our filebeat. Okay, let me do it again. Okay, so filebeat is now running successfully. Now just to confirm that it is able to send log, so we can run this command test output. Okay, we have some issue. Okay, so more than one namespace configured output. Okay, let us check the issue. I guess because of this it is getting error. So let's do one thing, because see, a filebeat is supposed to send the logs to Logstash. So I'm going to remove this. Okay, and I'm going to save this, and it is restarted. Okay, and now we can test output now. Yeah, so now you are able to see talk to server and everything. It seems fine. That means it is working. This is the IP address for the, if I check, 240. This is the IP address of the ELK stack. That means now it is working. Next step that we can do is, let us go here, refresh the page once. You can see you have data in Elasticsearch. That means now data is already present. So what we can do, we can click on create index pattern. An index that we am going to search for is going to be log star timestamp. Yeah, just create it. Okay, so data is present and logs are present. Now what I want to do, I can go here, click on discover. Okay, now there are a lot of things, and this is the timestamp part. Why it is available? Because we have used grok. Okay, now what I want to do, I want to type app.log. Okay, and I'm going to search it. See, now this is a section that this is basically showing the information from app.log. Whatever you want, you can search here. So based on your, like, whatever filters you are putting, you can search those specific keywords. Another thing that you can clearly do, you can, like, available fields, you can select the specific section. For example, I have selected timestamp, click on visualize, and you can generate report. Like, depending on what kind of chart you want to generate, you can select. There are lots of configuration. I'm not going in that very detail in that. Okay, and here we have filter for putting the time. So if I open this, I can put it to 1 hour, and this, yeah, refresh. Okay, so here we will be able to see data and we can visualize this using different formats. Another thing that you can do also, for example, we have horizontal axis and vertical axis. So if you want, you can, for example, let's say I can add more things, okay, in vertical axis. Okay, and if you want, you can change something else to horizontal axis. So based on that, based on these options available, you can decide. Okay, so based on this, you can, like, get the logs. We can visualize this based on your own requirement. Okay, there are many more things that I'll be covering some other day, but this is how you can set up your ELK stack to get the monitors, get the logs, and this is how you can monitor them. Okay, and if I go to dashboard section, here is the location where you can create dashboards. Okay, uh, similar kind of thing that we were doing previously. You can create dashboards, and yeah, different formats. Okay, here we have these things also. Great. So yeah, I would highly recommend to set it up and explore it on your own, so that you can, like, you get to know a little bit more. Okay, also team, again, don't forget to check out Batchland starting from 25th of March, and as of now we are having discount which will be closed very soon. So yeah, thanks for watching and have a nice day everyone.